And a pleasant good afternoon, and thank you so much for tuning in to FYI After Dark with our host, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton. I'm Ed Everett, the co-host, and we want to say a pleasant good afternoon to the host, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton, and a pleasant good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Mr. E. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
That's right. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood, even though the eclipse has gone by, but it's a beautiful day.
Wow, we want to welcome our platform that is all social media, and that is LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook Live. Look, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. We're going to shout you out during this show. We want you all to participate. We want to hear from you. We got a great topic on this evening. But before we do that, we want to just welcome everybody, all the viewers, all the listeners, and we want to welcome our sponsor. Let's talk about one of our favorite and our first sponsor, and that is Beard God.
Yeah.
www.beardgods.com. That's BeardGodz. You all go to that website. The owner is Mr. Chris Hinton. You can check out some of the things he has. And of course, when you hear the word beard gods, you know what we're talking about. We're talking about products for beards, for hair. Men can get vitamins. They can get picks and balms and oil to make you look fly, to make you look good, and make you stand out. What you think, Mr. E?
That's right. It'll make your beard, it'll turn gray hairs into straight hairs and won't be out. Sometimes they say, Miss Hinton, that gray hair is untamable. But you can rest assured it'll make your gray hairs be tamed and looking well and well nourished and groomed.
You're going to look good. I tell you what, go over there to that website, check out what Chris has for you. Check out some of the things he can tell you about keeping a beard healthy and strong and maintained. You can even give them as gifts. Ladies, if you have a husband, significant other that needs to make himself look good, trim, fine, go and check it out. You can buy them for your mate. And make them look really, really good, make them look really, really special. And ladies, look, Mr. You don't like to say that, but ladies, if you got something going on, I'm talking about the hair. You all can definitely use the shampoos and the conditioners and the picks, because some of you all are styling natural hairstyles and things like that. So listen, go over there. The oils, the balms, they are bomb. And you can definitely look good and feel good when you go and use these products. It's beardgods.com, www.beardgods.com.
Yeah.
All right, now, Mr. E, we got to go over and talk about
Bullvik. Yeah.
Bullvik Academy, that is. Please visit www.bullvikacademy.com and check out some of the information actually on the subject matter, the things that we're going to talk about this evening on that website. You can also check out the books, and we're going to talk about that later. Bullying is Right Underneath Your Nose, and the Diary of a Former Bully, and the game.
Yes.
Bullvik. We're going to be talking about that as well. Say that again, Mr.
I played my game this weekend. I played on it this weekend. I want to let you know it's one of the greatest games there is. It's a concentration game. It's a mind game. It's a game that, that you really got to read. If you're not a reader, if you're not for reading, this game is not for you. But it's great information up there. It's educational for you. And then you got to figure it out. It may be something totally different than what you're used to. In the same way, America is figuring out bullying. Hey, this will help you to figure things out.
Well, Ms. D, I'm going to challenge you. I'm telling you. And let's see what happens. I know I've already conquered it, but it's the type of game you got to make sure you strategize with each new move and each time you play that game and win it. you got to fight monsters. You have to strategize. You have to read. You have to beat the time. You've got to go into school, speak to teachers. You got to speak to students. You got to go around the garden and find things. And so it is definitely a great game, and it is definitely fairly new, but it is absolutely out there, and we'll tell you how to get it in a little bit. But yes, that game, Bullvic, is there. You can go to bulvicacademy.com, check out the products, check out the information. That's BULVIC, and see what's going on in the world of Bullvic. It is definitely a bomb, and it is definitely fantastic to
That's right.
venture. The information is very key in the blogs, and so please, please, please make sure you visit the website and check it out. Also, Yolanda Hinton, she got a new single. That little baby is about a month and a half, almost a month and a half, Mr. E. It's called Make It All Right, and it is really getting great reviews. It's out there wherever music is sold, and we would love to have you all to buy it and tell people about it. Crystal Records is the label, and you all can just enjoy the wonderful sound of Yolanda Hinton, as well as some of the other music in my library. You can get that wherever music is sold.
That's right. And you can rest assured that he'll make it all right. Make it all
Yes.
right. Make it all right by Miss Yolanda Hinton. What a beautiful sound. What a beautiful lyrics. I mean, the words that rolls off her mouth brings great knowledge and sending a great message. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Thank you, Mr. E. And look, we're going to give you some more information about some of our sponsors a little bit later, but we're going to get started on our topic and everything. Mr. E was just mentioning the eclipse. I'm
Yes.
still, look, did you see it, Mr. E?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. I
You
saw
saw it on, you saw it on the news,
I
on the
saw it with the
news in
I saw it with the
Ohio
I
or
saw it with the
Canada.
naked eye.
But you know what? I know some people were expecting to see the full eclipse, but it wasn't in every place.
Right.
The full eclipse took place in Hampton Roads years and years and years and years ago. It doesn't come full eclipse in your city and state every all the time when it goes somewhere else. It is actually something that you have to wait for after years and years. So they say the next one is going to be 2040 something, Mr. E, where we'll probably get the full eclipse in the Hampton Roads area.
I think
But I mean, people were still excited. People still bought the glasses. What did you think about it?
I think also that when I looked at it, it depends on what neighborhood that you live in, because I looked on Facebook and I looked on TikTok and I was seeing so many folks that had it on their Facebook page and they saw more, and I was recording it, but I
Well,
didn't
where did
see
they
it.
see it from?
I did not. I was recording it, but I did not see some of the folks that said they saw it and they put it on their Facebook page. They saw more than what I saw, and I was
I
standing. I was sitting out in my car recording it. I didn't see it, but
Well, I tell you what, I have a friend, one of my girls, Young Women Achieving Success. She's in Georgia, and I'm telling you, she got it. She captured it, and it was a real eclipse. Now, we got the eclipse, but they said we would only get 80% of, I guess, the shadow. The shadow. We got a shadow. That might be as much as we got, but I'm sure if you looked in the sky, you could see a little bit more. You know, I didn't even try to look in at the sun and the moon, but we did see a Mr. Just y'all. We
I'm sorry. I
we
did. I was
saw.
look. I was looking at that sun. I was just
Ooh,
saying
you were
like
thinking
this.
about the warm in the sun, won't you?
I was like this. I said
Anyway,
I,
it was
because I
exciting.
did.
Look,
I did
it
not
was
see it.
exciting to see other people excited about the eclipse. You know, we've seen it in our day, and the full eclipse. Maybe you all will see it, one day, and so it's here and it's gone.
That's right. It's gone. It came. It went. It saw. And it ran away. I didn't
And it
see it.
ran away.
I did
But
not see it. I did
yeah,
not see it.
Mr. E, is anybody there you want to shout out? Let me
I want to
know.
say good afternoon. I got to change and go to, uh, let's say good afternoon to, uh, let's see who we got up here. Let's see. I,
All right, what's going on there?
we're
Okay,
here.
anybody? Is
We're
nobody
here.
on?
Nobody's on at this present time. Let me go to this other phone over here and see if we got somebody over here on this side of the track. Let's see. I'm on both sides of the track. I'm on Instagram as well as on TikTok. I'm on both of them. So y'all excuse me because I'm working hard for this for today. I'm working. I'm
Well, while
working.
you work, I'm going to tell people thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, share. Sometimes people are there and they do not put their name in the chat, but we want you to so we can shout you out and acknowledge. So, those that are on Facebook, make sure you say hello in the chat. Those that are on Instagram and all the other platforms, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, make sure you say something so we can acknowledge you and thank you for your support. Mr. E, it has been a fabulous day, but there are so many things going on, so many issues that we need to cover in this world because there's problems and the problems need to be solved. And so this evening we're going to talk about one of those problems that I've just addressed, we've addressed, the community has addressed, the world has addressed, and that is bullying.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's one of the leading, almost one of the leading crimes or germs or virus or that's going around the world. It's not just in the 757 in your local neighborhood and not just on your street and not just on your block.
Yeah.
It's in everywhere you turn, from the jailhouse to the schoolhouse, from the schoolhouse to the church house, you name it. Bullying is right underneath your nose.
It definitely is. It's right underneath your nose, and we have addressed bullying. We have addressed it in our books, and it is bullying is actually an aggressive behavior that involves unwarranted and negative action from who we call the bully.
That's right. That's right. That's what bullying is. It can be a physical, or verbal, or psychological. It can happen face to face, online, and it right before your very eyes. An anti-bullying analyst. It's a problem that we're facing daily.
And look, we're not naive. We understand that bullying is definitely, I mean, it's here, but conflict is something that we always have in our society. It's inevitable, it's a part of the human interaction. And learning how to handle it peacefully and effectively is a crucial life skill. And so a lot of people find themselves in the middle of this thing called bullying. And sometimes you can be the bully,
That's right.
sometimes you can be the victim, and sometimes you can be the bystander. And I just wanted to just give a little history, Mr. E, about why I wanted to actually address this because I've addressed it not only through anti-bullying rallies and other things that we've done, activities, but I wrote a couple of books that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. I've developed a game app for young people, parents, schools, and also designed a curriculum that is actually going to come up real soon. But I wanted to address it because it was something that I didn't pay attention to much. I saw it. I know you've seen it, Mr.
That's right.
E,
That's
in
right.
school coming up. We've seen people bully other people, but it was nothing that I really kind of like, paid that much attention to until I got an opportunity to do a program in Newport News, and it was so many children, and I just all of a sudden began to look around and say, what in the world is this and what in the world is going on? It was just just so much of it, so much bullying that I had to stop and say, what are we going to do about this?
Miss Anton, when we talk about bullying, and folk may not never believe that it happens, because back in the days of old, we would know it was just he was just like that. It's just the way he is. It's just the way we have accepted that.
Mhm.
In our communities, in our homes, that just the way he is. Why would we let people just the way they are go around and torment and go around and pick on folk and not try to stop it, because it was just the way that person may be?
It was just the way that person might be, but they did so much
That's right.
harm,
That's right.
psychologically, physically. And, one thing you can say that wherein we have so much information now, there was a time when, people didn't address it as it was what it was,
That's
but, oh,
right.
you just a bully. Oh, you just a bully. Keep doing what you're doing. You just a bully.
He's
And
all right. He's
it's
all
all
right.
in this, it's child's play, sibling rivalry, that's the way life is. That's the way life is. But I tell you what, the harm that it can do is why I decided to address it. And so I decided to begin to do some research and figure out what is this that I'm seeing and why does it exist. Uh, where I was teaching this class, and the class that I was teaching, the classes, because I was teaching grades first to the sixth grade, uh, it was not, that wasn't what I was out to teach. I was teaching what I was hired for, but I felt like, wait a minute, I need to go another step. I need to research and find out what I can do about this problem. Now, the wonderful thing about it is I had my own organization, Crystal Community Development Corporation, wherein we develop young leaders, young men and women achieving success program. I felt like it was the greatest time to implement this, the anti-bullying movement and anti-bullying information in the program, in the curriculum, so I could really, really, really do some good. Did research and began to talk about it, and other people begin to talk about it too. Parents,
That's right.
teachers, administrators. We would talk with business people, leaders, and I mean, you begin to see it on TV. The start, and I mean, it just opened up. It seemed like the whole world just opened up to this subject called bullying. It was already there, Mr. E, but
That's
it
right.
just came alive, once I paid attention to it. It's just like you ever buy a car, Mr. E, and the
Yes.
third time you buy that car, then you start seeing that car everywhere. You
That's
didn't pay
right. That's
attention to it,
right.
except that, I've seen this car, it's nice. And then all of a sudden you see this. It was just like that. It was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to address bullying. And the next thing you know, I saw it everywhere. It was everywhere. People addressing it, organizations trying to talk about it, schools, the government. My brother is really instrumental in the bullying advocacy and sexual harassment in the schools. He's an administrator, and they have teams of people going throughout the different states addressing all these issues. And bullying is right there in the forefront with some of the rest of these things that affect our children in our community.
Miss Hinton, when we started talking about bullying, just in case our listening audience is listening, or listening audience is not aware of what bullying is and who can it happen to, I want to let you know that bullying can happen to anyone at
Mm-hmm.
any age. Very few children tells anyone that they're being bullied. So you ask the question why your child is acting so solemn, why your child don't want to go to school, or why your child asked one of the craziest questions, "Mama, can you drive me to school?" It's because they're being bullied. They're being picked on, and they feel weak, and they feel ashamed, and they're frightened, and it makes the situation worse because guess what? They have been picked on. I remember the time, Miss Hinton, when I got bullied. When I was in the sixth grade, there was a young lady. She's about 12 feet tall. I mean, 12 feet tall. I had an old greasy lunch bag because we used to make our own sandwiches. My dad would have my sisters, whoever turned. It was six of us to make our lunch bag, and so we would make our sandwiches, and they want the best sandwich, of bologna and cheese, or bologna and mayonnaise, and or peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So we would go to school, and evidently the girl was not getting any sandwiches at home, and so she decided that one day she wants to take my lunch. Yeah.
Wow.
And by the time she took my lunch and it was time for me to go home, I was hungry. I went home and I ate up everything in the refrigerator that wasn't nailed down or defrosted. And my dad asked me, said, "Well, what's your problem?" I said, "Well, the girl takes my lunch, and we was told not to hit a girl, not to hit a girl, even though I have three sisters and I would beat them up. But my dad would tell us not to hit them girls." So my dad said, "Now, you going back out there and you talk to her, tell her, said, look, that's just puppy love. That just, she just like you." And I said, "Well, wait a minute. If that's what you call love, I don't want it. She wanted to be my little girlfriend. I don't want it because when you take somebody's food, it ain't nothing good."
Yes.
So I had to break the lady out of the habit. So I got her out of the habit, and as of this day, every time I see her, I still turn and go the opposite way because I had to break her out of a habit.
And see, Mr. E, it is not just child's
That's
play.
right. That's
It
right.
is harassment. It's abuse.
That's
It's
right.
intimidation. And it takes a person into a cycle of defeat. They don't know what to do, how to do, who to tell because they are intimidated by that person. That person usually says, "If you tell, I am going to do this, that to you, your family, and anybody else." So a lot of kids, they fall victim to bullies. Bullies come and just like you said, they take your lunch, they take your money, they make you do things that you wouldn't ordinarily do. They just haunt and they constantly do it over and over. You
Me.
can't even go to school in peace without that person doing that harassment and abuse. That's
It's
why, when I hear people say, "Oh, that's just a part of, you may be strong enough to fight back, but there are so many, 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 many victims that cannot fight back, and it does so much harm. We got a chance to not only uh, talk about it and talk to parents and children and leaders, but we got a chance to bring the community
That's right.
together
That's
with
right.
our community against bullying, a call to action now, because there were so many people out there, Mr. E, that really, really wanted to know more about it. And they would call to find out, what can I do? So many parents and guardians and grandmas and aunties would call, want to know, where can I get help? This problem is tremendous, and
That's
we
right.
don't know how to stop it.
That's right. That's right, Miss Hinton. And you're right. And when they did that, when they do that, and they don't know where and when and how to stop it, and so they want answers. People want answers. People are
Mhm.
sick and tired of just being sick and tired of just going through this thing called bullying.
Absolutely.
It's a nightmare. Parents, grandparents are tired of it. It's a nightmare. Parents are tired of it, and they're looking for help. They want to know What can I do to resolve this problem?
Yes, absolutely. So I decided to write about it, Mr. E. The first book is Bullying is Right Underneath Your Nose. And like I said, for me, I really didn't, I didn't really see it. I think because I was dealing with a certain amount of youth, and we did not really address it because I didn't see it. I did see it, but I did not see it with the big picture. And so I decided to write about it. And I wrote Bullying is Right Underneath Your Nose, a children's book that tells you what bullying is, what bullying is, what a bully is, and why they do what they do. It tells about bullying being everywhere. And
That's
I
right.
know you said, Mr. E, I think you said at one time, it's in the church, it could be on the road and things like that. And so we address those places. It can be on the road, it could be on the highway, it could be on the internet, it could be cyberbullying, which is a real big thing. I was talking to one of the folk that I work with, and a marketing expert that I work with in my business. And he was saying that the games that kids are playing, there are so many bullies on those social media games. And I was like, wow, what? He said, there are certain ones, I'm not going to give the names of them, but there are certain ones that have so much of it. And so he, even as a grown man, he said he stands back, sits back, he sees it, but he would not dare get in it because talking about harassment, talking about intimidation, they are up there and they are going to town on a thing that's supposed to be fun. And so, we are going to see bullying in cyberspace on these social media platforms. Oh, everybody wants to fight and fuss
Ah,
and carry on. We mentioned about on the road, which is road rage. But I'm telling you, when we talk about the games and cyber bullying, we see it consistently. Up there, you can go up there, and every day somebody is there trying to, get under your skin, hurt you, harm you, threaten you, and this is why I have to address it along with the community.
Miss Hinton, I found out that there's a chat line that all schools are connected to in the 757. If something over in one of the schools in Virginia Beach and look like all the children in Norfolk get it and all the schools in Norfolk get it, and guess what? And begin to go viral. If there's a fight over there in Virginia Beach and
Yes,
Chesapeake will pick it up and Norview will pick it, Norfolk will pick it up, Portsmouth will get it, and and when you talk about viral, when you're looking at the internet, we're finding that your business is not safe at your own dwellings or in your own school, because
yes,
once one get it, you can rest assured the whole wide world, and it might be even on YouTube or on all social media platforms, because somebody done took it the extra mile and the extra distance. And that's what you're talking about today, that cyber bullying, that
yes.
internet bullying.
And they can go hard. Like I said,
Yes.
it can turn fatal because people are out of control. And unless we come together as a community, we will not be able to stop it. This thing can get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it has, it has wreaked havoc in our school. Bullying is, like I said, is on cyberspace, on the job. Lord knows people are harassed and bullied constantly on jobs. Sometimes you can go on a job, Mr. E, and you may look good, they're gonna harass you. You may look bad, they're gonna bully. People find any little thing to bully someone about. You have bosses that will harass employees, and you find adults that will harass children.
That's
You
right.
find children that will harass adults. I mean, it is just amazing. And then we find out, who some of the victims are. And they're victims like crybabies. You got a child that just go to school, they cry babies. A lot of people will pick on those tender children. Minorities are picked on. Disabled kids and people are picked on. The elderly, they're harassed and picked on. New students with low self-esteem, lonely, sad. That's how come some kids get in gangs because they don't have the support system and the love that they want. And then here you go, you got somebody that's going to make you and pull you in and lie and tell you, that this is it. This is we family and stuff like that. All the time they are intimidating and creating an atmosphere that you can't even get out. But you know what else, Mr. E?
What's that?
Dogs, cats.
That's
Do you
right.
believe animals can be victims
That's
too?
right. They don't care. A bully don't care who he bully. It doesn't bother him to mess with senior citizens. That's why there's a lot of seniors in our community, Miss Hinton, that's afraid to come sit on their front porches because they're not getting the respect that they're supposed to have. They're afraid to even get exercise, to walk to the corner and come back because somebody is saying something that they don't have any business saying, or are disrespecting them for no reason whatsoever. Is that they feel the need to sass them or say something wrong to them, and don't be that superhero that goes to, man, you can't disrespect that woman like that or that a senior like that. And so, because once they're doing and they go in the house and shut their door, and then when you got somebody that knows that they've been picked on, and there's another neighbor that will go in the house, I ain't seen nothing. Sit up there and look at you like the three monkeys. Hear no evil, see no evil, and speak no evil.
Absolutely.
When all the time he's seen it. Dogs do not have a chance. Don't have a cat, don't have anything. They can pick up anything and abuse your dog or your animal. Your animal can be in the yard, in his own yard, and they're taking tease that animal. But you can rest assured that one day that gate may be unlocked. And that dog found a way out of it, he gonna break you out of that habit.
Absolutely. So these are what we call victims.
Yeah.
We talked about the bully, and the bully is one that intimidates, abuse, and harass. But the victim is a person who suffers from harmful behavior and action. They're the one that get the other end of it. They're the ones that get popped. They're the ones that get thrown into lockers. They're the ones that get their lunches taken away from, money taken away from them every day. They're the ones that's been told to sell the drugs, to do this, to get in the gangs. They're the ones that suffer with people calling them names, and them bringing the bystander.
That's right. That's right.
The ones that egg on the bully.
That's right. Say that again. What do you call them?
Bystanders.
Bystander. What is another word for a bystander? A cheerleader? A
say that
rah-rah?
again?
Yeah.
Did you say what?
Yeah. What is another name for a bystander?
A cheerleader. Well, somebody that just cheers you on. Now, there's two types of bystanders. I'm going to say three types. There's a bystander that cheers you on, eggs you on. There's a bystander that don't know exactly what to do about it. They see it, but they feel like, oh, what if I say stitches? Snitches get stitches. I don't know exactly what to do. We have that one. And then the other bystander who will, keep it going in a different kind of way.
Yeah.
They'll stand by and watch on cyberspace, and they'll laugh and chuckle. They don't believe in it. They don't believe in bullying, but they won't do anything about it. And so, The victim doesn't have a chance because he's sandwiched between the bystander. He's in between him and he or her, and in between that bully. Then, if you don't have the support you need at home, if you can't tell parents or too afraid to tell parents, then that becomes a big, big, big problem. Another thing that bullies do, and they intimidate, and they usually intimidate nervous and anxious teachers. You ever see a teacher being harassed daily?
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
And they will have the whole school, not the whole school, but the whole class to engage in, disgracing, especially substitute teachers.
That's
Miss Eve,
right.
you ever had a substitute teacher?
A substitute teacher catches it. I mean,
Woo!
everybody is doing something in the whole class to that substitute teacher. And that
Yes.
substitute teacher, and it goes back and tells the teacher who did it. And now the teacher comes back, she's mad as gas because y'all didn't carry yourself right. And now she wants to punish you, all because of the substitute teacher and because, we was egged on by a bully.
Let's talk about, Mr. E, the school environment. Let's talk about the fact that, teachers and adults at times can't be safe because you have the danger of, and we just had that case where someone would bring a weapon to school. Then, this is what I want you to talk about too, Mr. E. These teachers, these children will fight these teachers in a minute.
That's right. There is no respectable person when it comes to a bully. A Billy Bad Butt. That he has no respectable. He don't care if you bigger than he is, if he bigger than you, or if you're male or female. He don't care. He don't care because he figured that he can tackle the whole world because he done got hurt. Somebody done said something. Now he's got to take all that anger out on an adult. And an adult tell him to sit down. And one time or another, Miss Hinton, when we was going to school, the teachers could hit you in your hand. Or grab you and tell you, come on, let's go down to the office. By the time you reach out to grab that hand, that young man or that young man done hit you, is fighting you now.
They ain't hitting, they fight.
They has no disrespect, don't care how big he is, and don't care how much, what. And see, the teachers has to get to the point, and they got to learn. They're defending themselves. But you know who get the rough end of it?
Who?
A teacher. Because now the teacher they're going to say that they need to have a control situation when a child jumps at them.
Yes. It's training that's needed for the whole school environment. Right. We need to set the foundation and create a safe environment for our teachers, for our students. Because like you said, sometimes a teacher is unsafe right there in the school as an adult. They're picked on, they're harassed, and some of these young people will tear them up, will fight. Just do a number on some of these teachers. It's the respect is not there.
That's right.
And the challenges, if a child feels threatened in this day and time and challenged by a teacher they feel like if they feel like a teacher is harassing or disrespecting them or weak, they are gonna go at it. I have seen it. You see it on social media all the time. It could be both ways. It could be a teacher that don't know how to talk to a child is at its wit's end, or it could be a child that comes from a home or comes from a place or comes from an environment that say, I can talk to you any kind of way I want to, and I'm not gonna get punished. And nobody's gonna say nothing. If you say something to me, I have a right to say something back to you. And it's like, wait a minute, there should be boundaries. You have to draw the line. You've got to teach your children that you do not have the right to buck against authority, and you can't be defended, young people, if you're in the wrong.
Miss Hinton, we say that, but the teachers has to know, has to really check out their classrooms when they first step in there.
Hmm.
These are some of the things. These are some of the trigger points I would think. Because when you step into that classroom and Johnny act like he didn't want to participate today, I'll write Johnny's name down, send it to the principal, and say, "Hey, look, I know I'm gonna have a bad day with Johnny. Can you get his parents on the line?" And even though he ain't did anything yet,
Hmm.
but that Johnny is having a bad day, or when they come into your classroom and he slams his books down or he lay his head down on the desk, that you gonna have some trouble out of this young man on today. So, but teachers, we got to really learn how. Some of us got to learn how to talk to people.
You said
And so
teachers.
teachers got to learn how to talk to the students.
Okay.
And if we want respect as adults, we got to give respect. Everybody, it needs respect for each other. But as a teacher, you dare to teach this class. You dare to teach the student. You're not there for, to discipline. When them students get to be,
Wait a minute, Mr. E, what did you just say?
you dare to teach the students and not dare to discipline them.
Who told you that?
Well, I know it. That's what they want. They want teachers to discipline their children.
You're there to teach them, and there
That's
are
right.
times when they should be disciplined by the school,
That-
and it should be reinforced by parents that say, listen, you can't come in here, young people, daughter, son, and think you're going to take over a class and be violent and do see uh,
You said something that was right. It should be reinforced by parents.
absolutely.
And see, sometimes parents are in denial. They don't think that their child does anything wrong. So if
Mhm.
mama don't think, and she come out there raising sand because you said, you gonna have problems on your hands.
I want to say hello to Miss Mary 601. Thank you so much for joining us this evening on our Instagram feed. You all that are out there, make sure you uh, uh, put in the chat who you are, say hello. We just want to acknowledge you, shout you out, and just thank you for being on our platform with us. If you have any comments, feel free to join in the conversation, your perspective, how you feel about it. Uh, Again, we're talking about bullying and
That's
how
right.
bullying is a big, big problem in our world, not just our community, in our
In
world.
our
And
world.
it's a problem that is getting huge. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We see it anywhere. We can see it on the streets, in the school, in the church, on the job. We can see it on cyberspace. It is getting big, big. It causes violence, people to be violent. It causes people to sit back and not do anything about it because of the intimidation. We see some that just enjoy it. If I put something on my social media feed about somebody, here come all my friends. They want to jump that
That's
person.
right.
It's like, wait a minute, this ain't your fight. But you got folk that will come and just go ahead and like, woo. Even with celebrities, they have their big fans, and they have these folk that tell that go behind them, and if you say anything about that celebrity, here they come. They want to harass, and they want to do all kind of harms, and they want to tell you ain't this and you not that. And it's like, wait a minute now. People have their opinions, but you have people that are excited to egg it on. You have the bystander who's excited to make folk, keep at it and keep doing it. And it's just a shame. Bullying happens in a lot of places. With let's talk about it with schools, Mr. E. We know it happens in school, but it can happen on the bus stop.
That it can happen walking down the street, Miss
Yes.
Hinton. Bullying, and I'm gonna show you now. bullying is so much a problem because if there's beef on the school ground, it does not stop at school.
Mm-hmm.
There's beef that stops in somebody's crib. You know they'll go all the way to your house
Mm-hmm.
with that. And don't and if you got a job, they'll take it on your job. I know a young man, Miss Hinton, he was working at Wally World. He was working at Walmart. And
Mm-hmm.
he was working a shift at the cash register. And somebody found out that he had a job there.
Mm-hmm.
All these millions of people that was in the store getting groceries, then they decided to jump that young man while he was cashing out somebody's grocery
That
over
is true.
something that happened in school. And now they done went from the schoolhouse to his house, from his house to the streets, from the street to his employment, to the job. Why are we living like that? Why can't we just let it go? You know,
Yes.
what make it so much so powerful that we got to take it to the extreme? We got to make it viral. Why do people sit back and want to take the battle everywhere
Mhm.
one goes?
Absolutely. When it comes to kids, in the schools, a lot of times, Mr. E, there are too many kids for
One
one
teacher.
adult. The adult supervision. I know where I was teaching at, it was so many hundreds of children, but not enough employees, not enough adults supervising, and it could fester. It could happen. You could see it and you had to, you go over here and try to remedy it over here, then you got to run over here. It's just so much of it. And so because people are not paying attention a lot of times, like I said, I really hadn't until I saw it with my very own eyes. And when there are no supervision like it should be, it's going to fester. And so, that becomes a really, really, really big problem. But sometimes let's talk about the bully again, because sometimes there are reasons why they bully, and some of them are just pure T selfish. They
Mm,
just want to harass. They just want to be mean. Some of them like to have power over people. I don't know if you. I know, just like you said about the young lady, she just wanted to have power over you. She probably didn't
right.
even want your lunch. It's just having power and having to say over somebody.
And get a name. Don't forget they want a name too.
I tell you what, one of the biggest things, and when I talk to youth, talk to young people in my group and club and stuff, they said because the jealousy is a really treacherous thing to deal with. People, young people in the schools when they are jealous. Like I said, they'll take and they'll make sure all of their friends come around to bring you down to nothing
That's
if
right.
they can. If you wear nice sneakers, if you got long hair, if you got money, if people find any kind of reason. If you're smart, if they think you're the teacher's pet, they'll do anything to bring you down. And
If
so
you
they're
quiet,
selfish, they're jealous. Some of them come from families that all they do is bully and fight. If they're in that environment, some of them are angry. Some of them are angry at parents. Some of them just angry kids. They can't have their way, or they've been hurt themselves. And, they're just in that environment where mom and dad may be bullying. They are angry because parents, they may fight and they're angry around them. Some of them just think they big and bad. You ever seen
that's
that
right.
type? Look, like
That's
just I'm
right.
just big and bad. I roll through there and I just look. I'm King Kong.
That's
Uh,
right.
they don't have compassion, and that's one thing that I address in the book. Bullying is right underneath your nose, wherein they don't know, they haven't been taught empathy and compassion for others, and so to see someone suffer, it don't mean anything. Now, I always tell the story about a young man who was a bully, and he would come in and take the kids' money he said every day of school, he would go and he would bully that child. Give me your money. Give me your money. Give me your money. He was bigger than him, and sometimes you don't even have to be bigger than anyone just to have that power. And so one day the young man came crying, past him, and he said, "Man, give me your money. What you crying about?" And he said, "I'm hungry." He said, "Well, if you hungry, go and eat. Why you telling me?" He said, "I can't. You take my money every day." He's hungry every day. Do you know from that moment on, Mr. E, that bully did not bully anymore. He did not know the feeling until the young man, he saw it with his very own eyes, and the young man expressed, "This is the suffering that you're causing me. I'm hungry. I can't even eat. Every day you're doing this to me, just torturing and tormenting me." And he saw the sadness on the young man's face. He saw what he had done finally, and he stopped bullying.
Miss Hinton, when we're talking about why bullying, why bullies bully, there are several behavior problems. There are several reasons why bullies. One of the problems that I was thinking about, Miss Hinton, was they have a learning behavior. They're having trouble understanding life. They got personal traits.
Mhm.
And when we look at their history, they got personal history. Why? And then they could be the parents, their oldest brothers and sisters pick on them all the time. And
Yes.
Miss Hinton, and then they get a label put on that you always start in trouble. You always got something going on in the house. And so what happens as a child, they grow up to defend themselves because one, everybody's picking on them. Everybody say that they did it. Everybody said that they was wrong. And because
Mhm.
everybody said that they was wrong and picking on them, now they got to learn how to defend themselves. So what they do, instead of them learning how to deal with the matter, they go around and do what somebody did to them.
Absolutely. Bullies say that they can get away with it because adults often turn a blind eye, to their actions. It's like, oh, whatever. He's over there doing that. I'm not going to get into that. Sometimes adults don't look in the obvious places. They don't, because they're overwhelmed. The school system teaches. I was at my job sent me to a convention, and I was talking to a group of teachers. This convention was for educators. And don't you know, a whole bunch of them, not majority of them, but a whole lot of them was on medicine.
Mm,
They were, because they had been overwhelmed. A lot of them was thinking about retiring early and things like that, because it's so much to deal with. Here you got so many kids to one adult or two adults, and then you have these problems that come up of harassment and learning, like you said, people that got their problems that bring them from home. You have your problems and things like that, and so teachers are overwhelmed, and
that's right.
sometimes adults see it as just a rivalry or joking around between friends, or they just see it as something that they feel like, hey, it's nothing that I can do. And then a lot of times bullying could be solved, but we have the victims that are intimidated and they don't speak up. And so it goes on in secret. It goes on behind closed door. That's where you get all kind of sexual harassment and all kind of stuff, because they close the mouth of the victim and say, "Don't tell. If
That's
you
right.
tell," and then sometimes the environment that the child or the adult comes around is not openly. It's not free. You're not free to express. You're not even free to express. Some kids can't express themselves at home. They can't tell. They don't know how to talk about certain things. And so this thing of bullying continues. This cycle begins to continue to go on and on. A lot of kids, victims they don't feel that anybody defends them or they're protected. That's another thing. You've got to make sure that every child in that school feels as though they have somebody that has their back.
That's right.
And that's the thing. If you have adults that will pay you no mind, if you are talking to adults and telling them and they don't pay you no mind, that's a problem. You got. I know you have a lot of kids or whoever. I'm not going to say just girls, but sometimes when a child comes up in a home where there's sexual, they say SA, don't say the word on some of these social media platforms. SA, um, they try to tell a parent, and the parent is like, I know that they doing that to you, but I dare not say. But for what reason, Mr. E? If a child is being SA in the home and tells one of the parents that the uncle or the daddy or the aunt is doing this to me, why why is it that people don't want to? Why do they turn a blind eye?
Miss Hinton, and that's one of the greatest questions that folks need to ask their family members, and that's been asked all over the world. Why do you allow this to happen when you know that's not
Mhm.
right? It's just like, for example, here's a prime example. You know that your son's slinging drugs. You know that your son is carrying guns. You know that. So why don't you just turn him in and so that he can get some help? The reason why, one, because you are receiving money from him, and
Yeah,
and and, and
sometimes
because
they do.
and,
Yes,
and
sometimes people
because you
do.
are receiving money from them, then you're gonna keep your mouth closed. And we ask the question, why do, when they're being sexual harassed, and why? Because it's happened to them too.
That's a good. Ooh,
And
wow.
because it happened to them, they feels like, well, I didn't have an ear to talk to or somebody to listen to me, so I got over it, and now you has to learn how to deal with it.
Hmm.
But the thing about it is, they don't know that every year, and this is what the good book says, that we're going to be wiser, but yet weaker. And we are not going to be able to take a whole lot of
Hmm.
stuff. We're
Hmm.
going to crack up. And that's what's happening around the world today, that folks are not able to take a whole lot. They're committing suicide.
Yes.
They turn into drug addicts. They
Yes.
turn to gangs because nobody is listening to them. They can't take the punishment anymore. They can't take this being dogged out. They can't take this being beat up every day, jumped in. They can't take this. And when they come to you, and somebody said, if you go and tell, I'm going to get your mama. I'm going to get your sister. It's a known fact that these folks who live in these parks together and they fight one another, they'll go right in your dwelling, in your house,
Hmm.
and pull that person out and beat them up and beat them up because now, because you don't like them, now I supposed to be on your side, and I'm not supposed to like them. But if I don't do anything, or if I like that person, I'm gonna get beat up, I'm gonna get ostracized. And so, because I believe, Miss Hinton, that what happens is that person that they're trying to tell has experienced it also.
Absolutely. A lot of times that has happened. And again, people don't know what to do. Some people that are, some bullies are caught into this web. They've been in the environment. That's all they know. They don't have skills, compassion, or empathy for anyone. That's something that skills that have to be put in folk, in
That's
our
right.
kids, in adults. If you don't have it, you just don't have it. And so
That's
you think it's something normal to do. But we have to make sure that we are teaching our children life skills, because bullying is a serious matter.
that's
Many people suffer from bullies on a day-to-day basis, and but this is some of the things that we can do. Adults should take a closer look at who children interact with. You got to be careful who you where you put your child, where you take your child.
Yeah.
We've had this thing in the world of sports and stuff with our young kids, and people putting them in the hands of just anybody to her, people are. Sometimes we leave the kids alone, and here come the gangs, and here come the harassment and the bullying. Sometimes we could just, have kids in a place where they are not able to speak, like we said earlier. They're not able to talk. They're not even able to tell. And like I said, these are skills that we should be teaching our kids. If somebody's bothering them, they should be able to say, listen, mom, dad, principal,
That's
teacher,
right.
I'm being hurt, I'm being harassed, and you need to help me do something about it. On the bus and on those buses. Oh my God. You know, our children should be able
Sit on that bus.
seek help. The bullies should be able to be recognized. We should be able to recognize those that are hard on others, that always pick. We should be watching for that.
That's right.
Every child in the school should be kept safe. And so we should see who our children are interacting with, um, and what places we're taking them, who we're letting them hang out with. Because sometimes, if you're a weaker person and you have that strong bully, that bully can make you do just about anything. Um, among children, bullying frequently happens in different places, in schools, playgrounds, at home. People are bullied on the job, like we said. And the effects can be hard on victim as well as someone who is witnessing the act of bullying, the bystander.
That's
The
right.
bystander can sit back and just don't know what to do. Fear, takes hold of them. They're not going to do you any harm. That's one bystander. But the other bystander may be saying, look, get him, kill him. Have you ever seen that, Miss E? Somebody sitting back and say, get him, get
Get
him,
them.
get him. They could be innocent as I don't know what,
That's right.
but they're egging on. Cyberspace is known for those that egg on and stay in that place of harassment and of foolishness. It can really be hard on people. It can cause mental health
Yeah.
problems, depression, feeling of loneliness, and it can impact the victim's ability to enjoy their life and favorite activities and stuff. So, what we can do is, if you are someone that is being bullied, you have to tell.
That's right. You gotta tell it.
And the community, you got to tell somebody probably in the community that you can trust, somebody that you can trust, because you've got to put an end to this. Like Mr. E was saying earlier, the suicide, the cutting of the
That's right.
arms, the like I just said, the mental health. You have to find ways of saving our children from this problem. We have support groups. You can have self-defense classes, are a great way to boost self-esteem, teach you about who you are. You can learn discipline and life skills in some of these programs. Mentoring programs are a good idea. We have a mentoring program, Young Men and Women Achieving Success. And we talk about self-esteem. We
That's right.
talk about bullying. We talk about talking to parents and being open, being able to be yourself and accept yourself, and to stay away from the wrong elements in life. You can find out if your school has programs, and they should
That's right.
have these programs to help the children, to help our neighbors and community. Anti-bullying programs to help address bullying. It shouldn't be just for the student or the child. It should be for the family.
That's
It should
right.
be for the family. The efforts of the community, with efforts of the church, parents, teachers, and leaders. Bullying can be addressed, resolved, and eradicated, Ms. D.
That's right. And you're right, Miss Hinton. All these, you should have some go-to person. You should have somebody that you can trust,
Yes.
that will stand up for you, that will help you. See, here's the thing. If our children don't want to tell us, do they trust us?
Mm.
That's
Can
the
they
question.
trust?
Can your child come to you with any problem, or are you aware of your child's behavior?
Hmm.
Are you aware? Are you so close to your child that your child feel comfortable saying, "Mommy, I just want to let you know, Daddy, Johnny has been picking on me."
Hmm.
Listen to me real good. When a young man comes to another young man to talk about what he has been experienced, he's still a young man. He's still a male child. He's no chump. He's no whatever. He still have feelings like anybody else does.
Yes.
Please, parents, pay close attention to what your young men and what your family or your daughters are saying to you.
Mm-hmm.
Pull your children's arm sleeves up sometime and see what they're doing in their room. Sit down and dialogue with them. Pay close attention. Go to school with them. Walk the streets with them.
Get on the bus
And
with
get
them.
on the bus with them. And if they come to you saying, well, you do it the right way, go sit down with the parent and say you like to have a meeting, not with just the child,
Mm-hmm.
but you got to have a meeting with the child's parent too.
Yes.
You know, one of the hardest things that gets me so much, and I'll never forget, is my granddaughter was going to a private school, and her mother inboxed the teacher, and they thought that it would be between the mother and the teacher, the
Yes.
business
Mm-hmm.
that her daughter was experiencing. The teacher went back to class the very next day, Miss Hinton, and it really got sour
Mm-hmm.
because the teacher told the class that she got a text message from a parent because the children have been calling her child whitewash.
Mm.
Now,
Wow.
everybody in that class knew who they was talking about. Now,
Mm-hmm.
can you imagine how that child felt when the teacher told the children about her being called whitewash, and my granddaughter didn't think it was handled
Mm-hmm.
properly?
Mm-hmm.
My daughter did not think it was handled properly. So I asked the teacher the question, what was her motive behind going to the school, into the class, and when you know that the young lady parent called and text you one-on-one
Yes.
because she was making you aware of what was going on. What was the purpose of you going out there? Now you jeopardizing that child.
Yes.
Now that child don't feel safe in that classroom because they came to you as a teacher, as a parent or overseer, as a teacher who knows the rules and regulations to help them. But
Yes.
guess what? The parent had to go to the child teacher, had to go to the child's parent and say to the child, I want to have a meeting with your mama or with your father.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Because,
but the main thing I believe that you're saying is this got to be a communication. It has to be a connection
right,
with all those that are involved, the
are
schools, the
involved.
teachers, wherever, who's ever connected to your child, you really need that connection to those
That's right.
folks. We are hearing so many stories about how parents have handed their children to a system or in the industries wherein a child can be harassed, they can be sexually abused, so many things. Parents, you got to get involved, stay involved. You've got to pay attention to what's happening to your child.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of times, parents, like you said, they're in denial. They don't want to believe things. They need to start listening and hearing what's going on in the lives of children. And so I wrote the book, Bullying is Right Underneath Your Nose. And I would love for you all to get this book and tell your children, read it to your children. Make sure they see what this book is all about. Make sure they understand that there is help, hope, and there is support
Yeah, yeah.
through the community. Make sure your school, it tells you how you can, just make sure everybody involved is rooting for your children. Make sure that you tell them through this book you'll read that there's help for the bully.
That's
There
right.
is help for the bully as well. The bystander can learn skills on how to uh, uh, learn how to speak up and speak out. The bystander is going to have to speak out. And then some of the bystanders going to have to stop egging on
That's right.
and making matters worse, putting gasoline on the fire and things like that. And so there is hope, Mr. E. This book I recommend to all parents for their students, teachers, um, just anyone that really wants to find out more about the topic. It talks about who's a bully, who's not, who is a victim, who's a bystander, and some of the things that you can do to resolve this problem. And so you can get this book online at bulvic.academy.com, BULVIC academy.com. And there are links that will take you to this book. It's an Audible. Um, it's in Spanish. It's in English. You can download it. You can get a hard copy. You can go in the stores and get it, Barnes and Noble, and ask for it, order it, and you can have this book. It teaches your children, just a lot of the things that's happening and how you can recognize this thing called bullying.
Yeah.
Also, there is hope for the bully because I
That's
made sure
right.
I wrote another book, Mr. E, and it's called The Diary of a Former Bully.
Yeah.
And it takes you through the journey of a bully and how he recognizes eventually his wrong and how he longs to be reformed. He learns to have empathy and sympathy, and he learns that his action causes so many problems, so many tragedies, and so many people to suffer. And so it causes him to reform. It's called The
That's
Diary of a Former Bully. You can get it on bulvicacademy.com, BULVIC academy.com. This problem of bullying is not getting any better,
That's
honey,
right.
unless we as people, parents, community, schools, youth organization, churches come together to make it better. I've also developed a game. It's called Bulvic, BULVIC. It's on the website of Bulvic Academy, and it's a wonderful game. It has an anti-bullying theme. It's adventure. It's reading. It's beating the clock. It's monsters fighting monsters. It's fighting monsters. It's talking to students and things like that. It is a link there for the game Bulvic, BULVIC. And you can also get it on your Google Play, in your Google Play store. You can buy it there. You can also purchase it at your Apple store, apple.com. Get it. It's called Bulvic, BULVIC. And if you just want to go to the website to find out some of the information, our blog is up there, and there's information for parents and for teachers, administrators, um, uh, for kids. You all can read some of that information and find out what we can do as a community. We also have the anti-bullying rallies every year. We're going to have it, and we're going to definitely keep in touch with this subject matter. Mr. E, we really want to start bringing our audience in so they can talk. We have another page on Facebook, and we have people that do respond to some
That's right.
things. And we want to get those people involved to talk about it and their experience and how they feel we can change and we can be a better society by addressing and resolving these issues. And so we got a lot of things that are going to be coming up with our anti-bullying initiative. We're going to continue to teach our young men and women achieving success on the topic of bullying so they can understand more about being compassionate and let it spread out to other kids. Like this thing called life skills is something that we've got to do, Misty. We got to give life skills.
That's
We got
right.
to
That's
give them skills to know how to cope with certain things. Some kids are victims because they don't know how to cope. Some kids
right.
are bullies because they don't know how to be anything else but that. Some people don't have the skills to stay away from trouble because they've been taught and they see kids and families just run into mischief. And so, for that reason, this initiative and these things have been developed and put together so you all can learn how we can be better as a society. Real soon, we're going to have the bullying antidote, which is a course for you all. I'll be talking about that more and more and more and more. On next year, that should be up and popping. You all can actually have your students in that program, and we can really, really dig deep on resolving a lot of these issues.
I want to say good afternoon to Miss Mary. It's 6:01. Thank you so very much for tuning in to the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. Mr. Jan Greg 13. Thank you so much for tuning in to FYI Radio Show, hosted by Miss Yolanda the Lady Hinton After Dark Radio Show. Thank you so very, very much.
Absolutely. So, Mr. E, we're so glad to be able to talk to our friends. I'm going to put in the chat some of the links so you all don't feel like, going directly to the website. You can go to Barnes & Noble, iTunes, or Amazon, any of those places, and you can just click and get the book, get the information, get the game, and find out more about what we're doing with our anti-bullying initiative and rallies, and some of the subject matter that we will be actually teaching in the future. But Missy, I want to thank you. I wanted to mention the NCAA and say congratulations to the women
That's right.
of
Congratulations.
South Carolina. You all were bomb.
And to the
Special
coach.
acknowledgement to Miss Dawn Shalley. It's not Stanley, it's Shalley. Is it Shalley or Stally? It's not Stanley, Stally. And the great job that she's done. She's everywhere. She's everywhere with her arms lifted up and just thanking God, because this is something that they worked hard for, Miss D.
That's right. And she's giving God all the glory and the honor and all the skills and the things that she have done, how she emptied out of her to make sure that the girls that was on her squad, and she had a great squad. And one thing I want to say to Miss Dawn, thank you so very, very much for not being selfish and giving props where props are due. You gave credit where credit is due. You said, look, I want to say, hey, thank you to the young girl, Caitlin Clark, who has made WNBA one of the greatest, brought a great knowledge and great attention to the WNBA.
The NCAA.
And WB, as you know, she's got a contract. She's getting a contract. Yeah. It's her senior year, and she's going to WBA and on the draft. The draft is right around the corner, so we want to thank you, Caitlin, and Don, Coach Don, who played for Virginia in her college days, and we thank you so very, very much for all that you have done.
Yes, Iowa. Yes, we want to say congratulations. You all went to the finals, and you really, really, really made an impact on a lot of people that weren't looking at those games, and now their attention is there. It's just like with Tiger Woods. When he came on the scene, it was like, wait a minute, what? We got some champions, some young champions like that, and especially a person of color. The attention turned to him, and you had more fans than ever. And sometimes that happens. Caitlin, really brought to the attention of people like, wow, you tell me a woman is that bad? She's a beast.
Yeah.
And then you begin to see the other ones, and it was like, oh my God. This game is fire. And so for that reason, not only is the NCAA big and is getting bigger, but when they do go, when these young ladies, when you got Angel, Reese, and all them going over to the WNBA, people are going to follow that. And you're going to have more, more money in the game. You're going to have, more sponsors and more things in the game now for, young ladies, young women. And then I can't wait, Mr. E, till they cross over into the football, the women's football. That's going to be the real tea right there. We already have
That's right.
professional women's football. We've had them on the show, but I can't wait till they get that attention. And when they get that attention, they get the endorsements and the money comes and the fans come and it's a big thing and it's fire. And so we look forward to that as well.
That's right. That's right.
Well, we have some upcoming shows. We got sports talk. Miss E, who's playing this evening?
This tonight, you don't want to miss that great big barn burner. Purdue playing against Connecticut tonight. And I'm getting ready to get out here on the highway, beeline to the television, because I want to see Lean, Chinese boy. I want to see him go against Connecticut's big old guy.
Well, Mr. E already made his prediction. I'm just going to sit back and just enjoy it. And wow, just look forward to seeing some good b-ball. In the meantime, we have some upcoming shows. We're going to continue with our sports talk on Monday. We hope you all join us. We have What's Under the Hat, issues concerning men, Wednesdays, and What's in Your Closet, women's issues. We're going to be covering child obesity. We're going to be talking about autism, health and wellness, serving that tea, and so many other things. We also want to thank our sponsors again. We have Beard Gods. You all go to the site www.beardgods.com. Also, don't forget Bulvic Academy, BULVIC Academy.com. Don't forget the ladies' music. Make it all right. Go get it. We're going to put that information in our chats. When I get off, I'll put those links there. Crystal Community, the World Ladies Pie, Crystal Records. It's just there's so many people that we want to say thank you to. So Mr. E going to also tell you how you could be a special guest sponsor or intern with FYI Radio.
If you'd like to be a special guest or sponsor of the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world, and FYI After Dark, all you have to do is give us a call at 757-714-7861, or you can inbox us at FYI Radio Show Live at gmail.com, or your email, that's right, FYI Radio Show Live at gmail.com. If you'd like to be a part of our audience, send us your email and we'll email you back to let you know what time and what date that we just want you to be a part of our audience. Don't forget, you can also inbox us on FYI Radio Show or FYI Facebook, or at whatever Facebook page, or Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton Facebook page. And guess what? We'll respond to you because we want to know what you want to know. We want to put on what you want us to put on so we can help our community to rise above mere survival. And for more information, give us a call, 757-714-7861.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us. We would love for you to be in our audience on our various topics. All you got to do is send your email to us at fyradioshow@gmail.com and say, I want to be on your platform with you all to discuss and talk about, the things that our community wants to talk about and say. And so we look forward to that, hearing from you and your suggestions. And we look forward to having you on FYI Radio Show Live in the morning and FYI After Dark. Thank you, Ms. Lee, for all you do. Thank you for all you bring to the table. You all, thank you so much for your support. Don't forget the books, The Diary of a Former Bully, and Bullying is Right Underneath Your Nose. We're so glad to be able to talk about this topic. We're serious about this topic, and we will visit this topic again. Yeah. And we'll let you know when. Be blessed. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
Just before we go, Ms. Hinton, we want to thank Bag Hat, BAHAGA 868 for joining us on FYI. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You all have a wonderful evening. Go look at that game. Bye now.
2 down, 2 up. 2 up, 2 down.